You're good.
Okay, ready, guys? Okay, 3, 2, 1. Barack Obama. The people cannot trust their government to do the job for which it exists, to protect them and promote their common welfare. All else is lost. Because I agree with Obama, I staunchly stand in affirmation of the result. In the United States, private ownership of handguns ought to be banned. Due to the use of the word ought in the resolution, which is defined by the Merriam-Webster dictionary as used to due to your moral obligation, the resolution implies morality is a value. Moral obligation is implicit to the resolution due to the use of the... Our morality is defined by the Oxford Dictionary's principles concerning distinction between right and wrong and good and bad behavior. I value morality. The resolution is begging the question whether it is moral to ban private ownership of handguns in the United States. Morality outweighs any other values that hold such a direct distinction to the resolution, and thus morality should be the primary value for this round, as any other value presented is irrelevant compared to morality. My value criterion is active utilitarianism. Named since 2015, it is a core idea that whether actions are morally right or wrong depends on their effects. The only effects of actions that are relevant are the good and bad results that they produce. Active utilitarianists focus on the effects of individual actions. Active utilitarianism is also objective. Nathanson, 2015. One advantage of active utilitarianism is that it shows how moral questions can have objectively two answers. Often people believe that morality is subjective and depends only on people's desires or sincere beliefs. Active utilitarianism, however, provides a method for showing which moral beliefs are true and which are false. Then every decision about how we should act will depend on actual foreseeable consequences. Contention 1. Independent of fatalities, injuries from handgun violence are massive and harm the economy. The Violence Policy Center, 2000. For every person killed with a firearm, approximately 3 others require medical attention. One conservative estimate places the annual cost of immediate medical care for all gunshot wounds at $4 billion. Other researchers take into account the lifetime care, long-term economic loss, calculating the overall cost of gun violence in any given year to be in excess of $20 billion. Nonetheless, since handguns are the cause of the majority of firearm injuries, it follows that handgun injuries are responsible for the majority of firearm-related expenses. Handgun violence takes its toll on the U.S. economy. By eliminating guns, we are reaping the immediate positive effects and benefits. By removing an immediate threat on the U.S. economy, we are able to expand the economy and allow us to grow and prosper. Banning the private ownership of guns in the United States would help remove a stagnant harm that plagues the economy, and this would be morally correct under active utilitarianism. Contention 2. Guns harm people more than they protect. Opponents of gun control use the idea that guns protect and defend against crime. Though this could be true, we must examine the full issue. LaFollette, 2000. One study found that for every time a gun is used in a home in self-protection, homicide, they noted 1.3 unintentional deaths, 4.5 criminal homicides, and 37 gun suicides. This implies that for every case where someone is using a gun in a gun-owning household to successfully stop a life-threatening attack, nearly 43 other people in similar households will die from a gunshot. For every one time a gun is used in self-protection, 43 other people will die. It is obvious and not hard to observe that while guns do protect people on certain occasions, these instances are rare and not common. More commonly, guns are used for destructive purposes. This is not moral, and under active totalitarianism, the lives of 43 people over the lives of one is more moral. The only way we can achieve saving these 43 people is by banning the use of all handguns, which are the most prevalent source of all gun violence. Moving on, contention 3. Banning handguns can lower suicide rates. In the United States, Harvard 2008. In the United States, suicides outnumber homicides almost 2 to 1. The research shows that whether attempters live or die depends on a large part on the ready availability of highly lethal methods, especially firearms. A study between the Harvard School of Public Health in all of the U.S. states reveals a powerful link between rates of firearm ownership and suicide. Based on a survey of American households conducted in 2002, it found that in states where guns were prevalent, as in Wyoming, where 63% of the households reported owning a gun, rates of suicides were higher. The inverse was also true. Where gun ownership was less common, suicide rates were also lower. The lesson: many lives would be saved if people disposed of their firearms, kept them locked away, or stored them outside the home. Studies show that most attempters act on impulse in moments of panic and despair. Researchers have found that in homes with guns, suicides are more prevalent. People often react irrationally in moments of sadness and anger. These individuals may attempt suicide, and where there is a gun, an immediate and painless way to end life, these individuals think irrationally and commit suicide with a firearm. The problem is that firearm suicides almost never fail, and you can never come back from a firearm suicide. Harvard itself states that the only way to protect these individuals is by not having a firearm in the household. Quickly allow me to note that since handguns are the most prevalent type of firearm, we determined that they are responsible for these results. Firearm suicides account for over half of the suicides in the U.S. By banning handguns, we can save well over half the victims of suicide. About 6 142 people every year. This is only moral under accusatoriness. And with one simple action, we are saving the lives of thousands of Americans, which should have a net benefit over many years. In conclusion, morality is a primary value for this round, as it holds a direct distinction to the resolution, and all other values stem off of morality. And this is upheld by accusatoriness. The affirmative presents several ways to save the lives of countless Americans and help boost the economy. Because the affirmative side is saving thousands upon thousands of Americans and provides a greater net benefit to the entire American population, as well as removing hindrances on the U.S. economy simply by banning private ownership of handguns, I strongly urge an affirmative vote ballot in today's debate. Again, let me reiterate quickly with my last few moments of time that just by banning handguns with one simple action, we were able to save thousands and thousands of Americans' lives. Simply by banning these handguns, we were able to provide a great net benefit into the entire American population and relieve one of the most prevalent reasons for American deaths. 10th ranked in the American deaths is suicide. By eliminating handguns, we can severely downgrade this and make it a not prevalent source of death in the United States. For these following reasons, I believe that you should vote after this round. And that's not open for cross-examination.
You can.
Okay.
Do you want to give feedback after the round or
After round.
after round?
Yeah.
The RFD.
Reason for
Yes,
decision.
I know what RFD stands for. I don't have a one-off. This theme of yours, I know how it is. It's like to touch your theme or something. It's pretty cool. It's kind of stupid. Honestly, it's stupid. It's like a Nike theme. How much do you use?
40 seconds.
Okay. So, do you want to give him 4 minutes prep time?
Yeah.
4. So 3:20 left. Oh, I forgot to put like a thing. Yo. Sure.
Are my judges ready? Is my opponent ready?
Yes.
Okay, could you restate your first contention for me, please?
My first contention is independent of fatalities, injuries from handgun violence are massive and harming the economy, and essentially what this contention is saying is that just by eliminating gun violence, we can take a major hindrance off the U.S. economy that costs the U.S. economy an approximate $20 billion per year, and by doing this, we can boost economic growth and remove a stagnant harm on the U.S. economy. And this will only be beneficial as everyone will be affected by the U.S. economy becoming better and more productive.
Okay, did you read evidence that said that by banning handguns, that would decrease the amount of handgun violence that happens? Because don't people readily have handguns? Do you know the rate? Do you know how many people in the U.S. have handguns right now?
No, I do not.
How would you take those handguns away? Like in what way, what would you do about the fact that there are thousands of people who have handguns in the U.S. right now?
That's mainly a question about how we would do this, but this is not a policy debate. This is an LD debate. We mostly debate over morals and not necessarily the ways that we would do it.
Okay,
is
but
it morally correct to ban handguns is the question in this debate.
okay, but if there are still thousands and thousands of guns in the U.S., even if you do ban them, and there are still thousands of people who have guns and could hurt people. You said it is bad for the economy when people get hurt in violent situations with handguns. There are still thousands of people who have handguns, and there are thousands of people who have other types of guns, who have fully automatic or semi-automatic weapons. Why specifically handguns?
Handguns are the most prevalent source of crime in the U.S., mostly because handguns are portable, easy to carry, and easily concealable. You cannot walk into a concert with a shotgun and go around killing people. It's not prevalent. People usually can conceal a handgun easily by putting it in their coat pocket or hiding it in a briefcase
But banning handguns doesn't technically make that something that's not going to happen, because people still have handguns and criminals will still be able to get handguns. And because like right now drugs are illegal, people still get cocaine. In criminals, people who are likely to go into places like concerts like that will still have the ability to get guns.
Well, considering that in the U.S. it is law to register your handguns, it's only foreseeable that by registering handguns, we can track down these handguns and eventually ban them.
So you track them down. So
I'm just stating that it is possible to track these down. I'm not stating that we will track these down. Again, this is not a policy debate. This is mainly an LD debate, which is a debate based solely on morals.
okay, but not all people have. Like I said, criminals can still easily get things on the black market. Making it illegal or banning them, like drugs, isn't necessarily going to stop anything.
Should we finish the question or?
Yeah.
Okay, so could you please restate your question? The
Well,
question is banning them is not going to
Yeah.
provide any benefit.
Yeah.
We're going to ban them, and the thing is, we're significantly going to decrease the amount of handguns that are in circulation. Handguns are readily available in the U.S. even with registration, while by banning handguns, we make handguns less readily available. And also another thing that happens is while you ban handguns, the price of other guns goes up, and teenagers are the most likely people to commit crimes as well as.
Can teenagers buy guns? Is it legal for a teenager to buy a gun?
You can't ask it.
You can't ask
Well, you
any
can
questions.
go in CX time.
If you go to your prep time and start using your prep
Yeah.
time,
If
instead
you
of
start
like,
u-
That's dangerous, though.
Yeah, do you want to use your prep time for these questions?
no,
No.
Don't do
Don't
it.
Okay. No,
Thank you.
then. Okay.
All right, wait. Before you guys sit down, don't look at each other when you're doing sex. You look at the
Yeah.
judge.
Okay.
Never look at him. You never look
Okay.
at her.
Like
I
you're
just
parallel.
voted both of you down.
I just
Oh.
like
For
I
looking
literally
at
just
each
dropped
other?
you both.
Wouldn't it be
I just
equal?
no one won this round.
No one won because we looked at each other?
Yeah,
I
that's
haven't
okay.
lost
Okay.
to an novice.
Speaker points.
All right. Anyway, so that's the
Okay.
yeah. Just don't look at each
To
other.
your
Don't
corners.
look at each
I'll never look at anyone again.
To our corners.
You should look deep into your judge's eyes.
Just like stare at
Oh
them.
yeah,
Make
do
them
it.
cry like in my last exam.
Don't make me cry. I'll vote you
You
down.
made someone cry?
Yeah, I made
In a
someone
good
cry.
way.
Oh, in a good way?
They
Like,
moved them.
oh, okay, so you weren't like being offensive to the judge?
Oh, okay.
No, she was crying about how badly Muslims are being persecuted.
I told her
to do.
She didn't do anything I told
That's how I
her to
went
do.
first.
All
I told her
right.
what to do at CX.
Are you taking the prep time? Okay.
Oh, 1 second.
You told us to go to our corners, so I went to my corner.
Oh yeah, you
That
could.
was more figurative, but it's alright.
Oh boy. All right,
7?
7 minutes.
Okay. Are my judges ready?
Hold up. Joseph.
Hi, Jojo.
All right, you're good to go.
Okay, everybody, judges ready?
Yeah.
Is my opponent ready? Okay. So first I'm going to start by attacking his case, and then I'll move on to my own. So my opponent's first contention is that handguns fatalities hurt the economy. And we did talk about in cross-examination that there are still thousands of guns in circulation and it won't necessarily make the rates go down. And his third contention is that it'll lower suicide rates. And I didn't get a chance, because we only had 3 minutes in cross-ex, to talk about the fact that there are thousands of other ways to kill yourself. There are so many ways to take your own life that it... There's so many ways to take your own life besides just killing yourself, that if somebody who has that rash, as yes, it is a really rash decision sometimes, there are hundreds of other ways to kill yourself than just that. And my opponent didn't really say anything about the fact that there are thousands of guns in circulation and didn't address the fact that criminals can still get guns, like I talked about in cross-ex, and now I'll move on to my case. Never be brainwashed into thinking taking steps to see a position to defend yourself that you're being unlawful. The only time you're being unlawful is when you break the law. It's lawful to have something to defend yourself. Malcolm X. It is because I agree with Malcolm X that I negate the resolution. I'd like to give the value of morality. Morality is defined by Merriam-Webster as principles concerning the distinction between right and wrong or good and bad behavior. The standard is upholding natural rights. The Declaration of Independence, 1776. All men are created equal. They are endowed with certain unalienable rights, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The United States was founded upon these principles, and in taking away a citizen's right to protect themselves, these rights are infringed upon. Contention 1. Gun control will be another means for law enforcement to oppress minority groups. Gorgovich, 2015. The standard form of gun control means writing more criminal laws, creating new crimes, therefore creating more criminals or more reasons for police to suspect people of crimes. It means creating yet more pretext for a militarized police full of racial and class prejudice to over-police. As police killings of unarmed black men have reminded us, the police already operate with barely constrained force in poor minority neighborhoods. The police manage a panoply of programs that subject these populations to multiple layers of coercion and control. As a consequence, more than 7 million Americans are subject to some form of correctional control, an extremely disproportionate number of whom are poor and minority. While it is commonly assumed that the drug war is to blame for all of this, already existing gun control efforts also play an important role. The NYPD Stop and Frisk program was justified as a gun control rather than a drug war measure. In the name of preventing violence, hundreds of thousands of poor minorities are subject to searches without probable cause each year. Contention 2. The possibility of a potential victim possessing a firearm deters criminals. Taking away that deterrent would lead to higher burglary rates. Lott, 1997. The potential defensive nature of guns is indicated by the different rates of hot burglaries where residents are home when the criminals strike. Almost half of the burglaries in Canada and Britain, which have tough gun control laws, are hot burglaries. The United States, with laxer restrictions, has a hot burglary rate of only 13%. Surveys of convicted felons in America reveal they are much more worried about armed victims than they are about running into the police. If criminals no longer have to worry about their possible victim is armed, they are more likely to commit a crime, raising the amount of burglaries and other such crimes. Contention 3. Banning handguns has not been proven to lower murder rates. Cates, 2013. Russia banned handguns in the 1920s, yet Russian murder rates have always exceeded the United States as of 2000. Russian murder rates were 4 times higher than the United States. Murder rates of European nations that liberally allow guns, like France, Germany, Austria, and Italy, are much lower than that of the United States, and 1/3 of the rates for gun-restrictive European nations. Norway, with the highest gun ownership in Europe, has Europe's lowest murder rates. Austrians, whose law guarantees a right to handguns, have Europe's second lowest European murder rate. In England, handguns were banned completely. Today, England has the highest violent crimes rate in Europe. It is because of these reasons I urge a nay ballot today. I now stand open for cross-examination.
How much time did you use? Wait, 3 minutes of 7 minutes?
I had,
We're judging.
Oh,
We're gonna let this go.
okay.
Okay. You have my question, 31 seconds.
Easy.
What?
Could I take a small bit of prep time, please?
Yeah, that's fine. Go for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Peanut gallery.
That's my LG.
shut up. Please.
I'm sorry. Please don't be mad at me.
Thank you for saying please.
Okay. Timer. Is my opponent ready?
Yes.
Is my audience ready?
Yes.
Judge. Okay, so, your value constraint is upholding natural rights, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So, your first contention states that it's only another mean to oppress minorities. How is searching minorities or searching any person oppressing them?
Because it is more likely, like the search and frisk policy in New York, minorities are more likely to be searched police officers are more likely to search unlawfully minorities than they are to rich, affluent, white people.
Thank you. And do you have any statistics to prove this?
No, I don't, but,
Okay, that's enough, thank you. Okay, so you stated as an attack on my case that there's so many other ways to take your life. Do you have any evidence to support this?
do I have any evidence
Do you-
that there are other ways to kill
Alright, Do you
yourself?
have any evidence that it is widely, what other ways are you supposed to kill yourself? Do you have any evidence on this?
Do I have evidence
Okay.
that there are other ways to kill
Okay,
yourself?
fine. Okay.
I don't
Let's
understand
drop-
the
Let's drop
question.
that contention, or that question, sorry. Okay, so you said that the ban does not stop murder rates, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so are we trying to stop murder rates entirely?
Are we trying to stop murder
Okay,
rates?
stop. Are we trying to stop murders in this debate itself? Are we trying to stop murders with this?
That's not what we're debating. We're debating whether or not guns should
Okay.
be legal.
But you can't cite murder rates as if you're using murder rates as a way to debate against me, you have to be able to say that.
I'm
you have
saying
to
that
be able
it doesn't have an impact. I'm saying that banning handguns is likely to make the murder rates go up instead of down because
Okay.
criminals
Or because, are you fine?
because criminals are less likely to be scared of the fact that someone could have a gun and shoot them back.
Okay, so you stated that burglars are deterred by having the idea that people may have guns, correct?
Yes. There was a survey done that stated that criminals are more scared of people having guns than they are of the police.
Well, can't the burglars have guns themselves?
Yes.
Then wouldn't it be an equal threat to each other for the?
Oh, yes, but it does if there is no gun in the house and there's no possibility of there being a gun in the house, those criminals are not going to be scared that they're going to be hurt. If there is the possibility of a gun being in the house, it does deter them from this. There was a survey done of thousands of criminals who all said,
Okay. Thank you.
Isn't that time?
I have no further questions. Yeah,
wait, it was like
2 seconds
3 seconds
anyway, yeah,
left.
so.
Oh. I was looking at a different clock.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's fine.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
no.
For-
You can write it down and give it at the
What are you
end.
doing? What's up?
Okay, so,
Audition?
Are you taking prep time?
no,
Oh, yeah.
alright. No, I'm fine, I wouldn't
Martha,
use it. I
can I
wouldn't really use it anyway. Okay. So, I'll just wait for them. Okay, is my audience
I'm
ready?
sorry.
C.
Judges ready?
Can you tell me what you're doing first?
Yeah, I was just about to after I asked Nina what she was doing with it. Thanks. Nina, are you
Sassy.
ready?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so for a brief off-time roadmap, I will first address my opponent's attacks on my case, and then move on to attack my opponent's case and address issues in this debate. Okay. Starting off, my opponent started by attacking that handgun fatalities they won't make the economy go down, or they won't stop the economic rates going down just because of banning the handguns. So that's not necessarily true, and the thing is that if you ban handguns, which is a primary source of a gunshot wound or a gunshot or violent crimes, they're the main source of violent crimes. If we can ban that, we can take a major hindrance off the economy. We can save $20 billion that are plaguing the economy and bringing our economy down and allow us to grow economically. And this would help everyone in the U.S. as the economy would become better and everyone would live a better lifestyle. And this is only by doing one simple action, which is banning handguns. Next, my opponent states there are so many other ways to take your life. While this is true, most other ways you can come back from. If you're hanging yourself, let's say someone goes out for about 30 seconds or is pretty much out cold for 30 seconds. You can always bring them back to life necessarily by doing CPR. There are you can do CPR on people, and that way you can bring them back once they've committed suicide, and they can think further about what they've done. Poisoning can be reversed, and you can save someone once they've been poisoned. So just saying that there are so many ways to take your own life, that is true. But it is also not true that they cannot come back from that. Firearms, there's a 90% rate that you will die permanently, or you will never be able to be resuscitated from dying from firearms. There's no way that you can come back from that. But there are ways you can come back from poisoned or hanged. So that entire attack drops. And then she says there are thousands of guns in circulation. There are thousands of guns in circulation, and there are thousands of guns in circulation. So she's essentially saying that banning handguns is not going to take away the problem. While there are thousands of guns in circulation, that's not going to necessarily take away the fact that they're a major hindrance on the economy. And that it's not going to take away the fact that they can be stopped, and major instances of this can be stopped. Every time a handgun is used for a crime, the handgun can be confiscated, as it mostly is, and we can track down owners of handguns and take away their guns. And it's not necessarily a violation on natural rights. I ask you, what would you value more, your life or your items? She has a contention based on that people would be less scared of, or burglars would be scared of not having their items or getting stuff from the person rather than they are scared of the person. You would be more inclined to keep your life rather than your things. So people would be much more okay with having burglaries rather than murders. In conclusion, other things, my opponent's valid concern of upholding natural rights, that has to be upholding natural rights is true, but more people would uphold their natural right of life rather than a right to a gun. People would rather have a life than right to a gun. If you ask someone, went up to any person in the entire United States and asked them, what would you rather have? Would you rather be killed or would you rather have a firearm? They would obviously say they would rather have their life, as life is the ultimate thing that almost everyone wants unless they're committing suicide. Well, in the end, the aft side should be voted on in this case, as we can save so many people from suicides, as suicide is the 10th leading cause of death in the United States, and almost 60% of suicides are committed with a firearm. And firearm suicides have no way to come back from. We can eliminate all these suicides and save thousands of lives every single year. We can remove stagnant harms on the economy, and also, as well as this, we can also allow people to have more, injuries that'll go away, the economy will become better, and also they harm people more than they protect. And my opponent did not necessarily attack this contention, as they would harm more than they protect. And while they are used for protection, they are still used for more harm. And people would rather be alive than dead. So those are the reasons you should vote aye.
Are you taking prep?
Where you're from.
I just want to talk.
Hold on 1 second.
Pay attention.
I just need to write your feedback. Let's see. That's what I do when I'm trying to write fast.
Too much energy.
He types like he's texting and it bothers me. He puts like you instead of you.
Oh God, I hate
So I
that.
just
Why?
typing faster. I don't want to use.
Are you ready?
Sure, go. Whatever.
Okay. Are you actually ready?
Yeah, fine.
Okay.
I'm
Did your
good.
pencil freeze up?
Yeah, my pencil's frozen. I flash froze it.
All right, let's
You're
go.
not funny.
Okay, my judge is ready.
Yes.
Rithik, are you ready?
I am 100%
Okay.
ready.
Jonathan.
110.
Okay.
Fight me.
A brief off-time roadmap. I am gonna address my opponent's attacks on my case and then move on to his. So my opponent's first attack, or biggest attack on my case, is that people would rather keep their life than their gun. I read evidence that said, or if you have a gun, you are more likely to, in cases like a robbery, you are more likely to be able to defend yourself. It's not his statement that people would rather have a gun than rather have their life than a gun doesn't necessarily work, because sometimes guns can lead to you keeping your life. You could be able to protect yourself. If you are robbed on the street and you have a gun, you're more likely to be able to protect yourself. If somebody is trying to kill you and you have a gun, you're more likely to be able to protect yourself from that person than if your guns are banned. And if we ban guns, that's the only people who are going to not be able to have guns is the people who would be protecting themselves, the regular average citizens who aren't committing crimes. Criminals would still have access to guns. Criminals still have access to drugs. We've banned drugs, but people still do cocaine. Normal people like you and me don't do cocaine because as we abide the law. We understand that we're not supposed to do that. But criminals who are already breaking the law aren't going to be stopped by having to break another law, by having to go on the black market or purchase a gun without a license. And there are still thousands of guns in circulation. People are going to be able to sell their guns to criminals, and so we're not taking guns away. We're taking guns away from the good people and putting them in the hands of the bad people. So it's not necessarily solving crime because criminals are getting, so like he said in his first contention, that's making his first contention work for me. People are hurt by criminals with guns, which hurts the economy. By banning handguns, we're putting more guns in the hands of criminals and taking them out of the hands of general people who are going to end up in the hospital. So yes, it does probably hurt the economy if regular people are injured all the time by handguns because criminals have them. But by banning handguns, we're giving more guns to criminals, so it's only going to rise murder rates. Like I said in my third contention, it's going to cause murder rates to rise instead of lower. So his first contention works for me. It's going to hurt the economy, and it's going to continue to hurt the economy if we ban handguns. And he said I didn't really address his second contention, and I pretty much just did. Guns harm more people than they protect. That may be true, but now if we're just putting them in the hands, if we ban handguns, then the people who would be protecting themselves, we completely take away the people who can protect themselves, because criminals have more guns. People who would be protecting themselves do. So people are being harmed more than would be harmed more than they would be protected. So that's it for the second contention. And the third contention, you can't bring people back to life, typically. You don't come back from suicide. And if you kill yourself, you killed yourself. So people are still going to kill themselves if handguns are banned. You will still, if that is what you so desire, you really, really need to end your life, that's what you feel like is right, you're going to find another way to do that, even if you don't have a handgun. And with my first contention, his attacks really didn't make any difference. Minorities are oppressed because police are unnecessarily, police have been proven, just from the news for the last few years, police are harsher towards minorities than they are against other people. So my first contention still stands. He didn't really attack my second contention. My second contention still stands. And he didn't attack my third contention still stands. It lowers murder rate. It doesn't lower murder rates and will raise murder rates if we do ban handguns. So for these reasons, I urge a neg ballot today.
Judges ready?
One second.
Audience, okay.
Hold up a second.
Yeah, one second.
Don't you start prep time?
I guess I do. Can use it after they're done.
Are you sure you don't want to use it?
I'll use it. Why
Just
not?
use it to meditate.
I'll do that.
Just like do
One
some
kid-
jumping jacks.
I
One
get
of my kids
crystallized
at
last
camp
speech, right?
actually
Yeah, you
used
need to.
some of his
Crystallized. I just can't bring
time
up
to
proper
meditate,
arguments.
and then the
Same.
first part of his AC, AR,
Talk clearly.
Oh.
clear.
Persuasively.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to scream clear in the first,
I was thinking.
Yeah, I know how that was.
and then I was like,
Following your own.
I know, I'm really bad.
I've been good.
Judges are ready.
Oh, I'm
Audience is ready.
meditating. I'm meditating.
Debate is ready.
I'm using my prep time to meditate.
Do an interpretive dance.
TSM.
Do it. That's not interpretive.
It
That's
is.
just
I'm
fact.
interpreting. Guns kill.
What?
So vote F.
If you do that during your speech, just please do that.